What is up, beautiful people? Welcome once again to hellohnclothing, and in today's tutorial we are going to be learning how to make this scissors pattern kind of cut here. So if this is something you're interested in seeing how it's going to be made, please do keep on watching. And yeah, happy new month to you guys. Happy new month. Okay, 1 year ago we started this channel. Thank God for growth. Thank God for you guys, beautiful people. And yeah, let's dive right into today's video. Alright guys, so for this tutorial you actually need your basic bodice pattern. I need the full scale of my front. You could also do the full scale of your back as well, depending on the kind of style design you're going for at the back. But for the front, since we have a crisscrossing going on, we actually need our full front pattern. By full, I mean the left and the right side of the pattern, as against doing just either only the left side or the right side, then cutting on full. This one you need it opened up together as a whole piece, not as a half scale. So on my own full pattern for the front, we know that I use my shoulder darts and my waist darts, and that is what I have here. So this line here is my chest line, this line is my bust line, and this is my true bust line. Please, you can check my basic bodice video right here. It's going to be linked in the description box, and you can also click the link showing on the screen right now. You'll be able to see how I create my basic bodice pattern. Okay, since that is settled, the first thing you want to do is an armhole princess dart. We're doing an armhole princess because we actually want to close up these dots. If you do a shoulder princess dart, that's just connecting this and cutting it up. We actually need our full front with the shoulder and everything. We need this upper part untouched. That is why you go for an armhole, because it's not coming up here. We need it full so that we can do that crisscrossing and be fine with it. Okay, so let us do what we need to do real quick. Okay, so for our princess dart, we're starting with the front, and for our princess armhole dart, all you need to do is close the darts. There's no need to tighten anything in this case. So we are just basically going to close the dart up, then draw a curve from the armhole here. So when you cut up this part, everywhere else will relax. But we can even draw the curve before we do closing the dart. Okay, so from here, from the shoulder tip, you just want to measure maybe like 4.5 inches or 5 inches downwards, and from there you're going to curve it into the shoulder dart here. You can just eyeball it if you also want to do that, but please, it's always good you measure. So from there you're curving. Okay, let's just use our curve. I'll still go by with the marker. I'm just doing a rough sketch. So meet those 2 points. Then from there you're going to be doing like a tightening of 0.5 inches, so that we just have a little tightening going on there. Then straight down, all the way straight down. So something like this. Please do your measurements. Don't mind me. Let me go and get my tape roll so that I can do the measurements. So like we said initially, from this tip here, I measured 4.5 inches. Then I curved it here. Let me do that again. You don't want to use the fullest part of the curve. You just want to connect it from there to the shoulder dart, and yeah, and there you can now use the fullest part and curve it, because this is now the bust point area there. Okay, when you do that, you want to measure 0.5 inches here, 0.5 outwards. See, I didn't even get the 0.5. That's why it's good to always do your measurements. And you're connecting this, and then you're just going straight down. That's all for the princess, the armhole princess start. So now you can close up the dot here. I hope you know here too means that you're just cutting here and cutting to this part straight down here. I also have an armhole princess that has already been done. You can check that out. And also, to avoid any form of pockiness going on, you can reduce it maybe by quarter inch. I'll just do like a quarter inch reduction there. I don't want it too much. Just reduce the like remove some. This is like part of all contouring. You are contouring that way because you are removing any excess that will form at that armhole part, especially when you are sewing it up together, when you're joining it up together. Okay, I'll just go ahead to cut this part here. So this was taking care of that puckering that will be going on at the armhole. Then from there you'd have something like this. Now if you just tighten this part, it's just going to stay. Okay, just stay. And then you can put paper to redraw that shoulder there. Okay, so I can now join from this point here down to that shoulder tip that was there initially. So my shoulder is sitting pretty there. To get the same thing you have on the other side, you can practically just place this and just follow the outline, okay, and cut it out by just following the outline, just placing it and cutting it out. Since you want two symmetric, that's equal patterns on both sides. Or if you're not so sure, then please go ahead to retake the measurements on the other side. Or you place the piece that you cut out on it. I think that's even more wiser. Just place the piece, don't let it move. You can first trace it out so that in case it moves, you have the exact measurements that you're supposed to be working with. We are good to go now. We have our pieces for the front. Now let's start with the main cocoa of the whole matter. The main cocoa, that's where we're going to now. Okay, so now we need to cut the neckline, the basic neckline we need for this particular style. Do you want the whole basic neckline to be all like a polo neck? Do you want it a little lower? However you want it to be, but I think it shouldn't be more than like 5 inches. Okay, so from that center front here, I'll just go maybe like 5 inches. Let me just do like 5 inches. So when you do 5 inches on both sides of the on both sides, you can do maybe 3.5 wide, then 3.5 wide, you know, because we're actually not doing it together. If it was a half scale now, you don't need to be doing all symmetric. Maybe I should just close it so that I'll have the same thing. Close it please, so that you have the same thing and not be burdened with trying to make sure it's equal. So now I'll just place my I'll place my ruler and draw the neckline, the main neckline for this pattern. Okay, so this is like the main neckline for the pattern. You can do it on the other side too. So that you can see a visual representation when working. Okay, so that's like the main neckline for this style. Now, from here, from the shoulder tip here, you just want to draw a straight line to either your chest line or your bust line. Okay, either of them, whichever one you want that crisscrossing effect to get to. I think I'll just go with the chest line, and I'll let it stop just by the middle here. So by this mid center front, on the center front. So I'll just draw a straight line then. Okay, then from this point here, you now want to, oh, this kind of looks too low. This kind of looks too low. We can, if you don't want it so straight, you can actually maybe bend it a little. Let me see. Let me use a more curvier thing to join here. Okay, so instead of it just be straight. Okay. This one is more curvier. This one is straight. So from here, we can actually, if this neckline is looking so deep, because this part now, this crisscrossing will be so thin, you need it like, I always like let it be kind of equal, so that you're now joining this to this part here. It's coming all the way from it. So if you have something like that, then that means this neckline is too deep for us. This neckline is too deep, but I don't like necklines that are so uptight. So let me work with what will work for me. Okay, this will work for me fine. This will work for me. I'll just use this one as a curve, because this neckline is just a guide anyway. It actually is a guide. If you know you prefer, you don't mind kind of polo necks or neck that are so tight fitting, if you know you don't mind it, then by the end of the day, that neckline we drew is just like a guide. Okay, so because we are coming from this tip, since that is where our princess, the other princess line will be attached to, we are coming from that tip. So we are looking for what will work for us, coming all the way. Okay, oh, this neckline will still be high up, man. It's gonna be high up. See, it's already like, if you measure here now, I think it's back to 3 inches. Let me see. Okay, it's about 4 inches. So it's now 4 inches neckline that we are now having, because man, it's gonna be high up. So from there, let's connect it back to this part. Okay. Okay, so I hope you get the gist. Anyway, this neckline we drew, this U is like a guide. We've drawn it already, but because I don't want it to be so thin, if not, if I follow this neckline and connect it here, this part will be so thin. I really don't want it so thin, so I am actually indulging. I'm trying to increase my hand to see if it's going to be better. So let me cut from here now. Let me just use that thing to just guide myself to cuts. Good. So I hope you know you don't need this anymore. This one, bye bye. Then here, so it's either we do this straight line or this. Let me do this curve line first. This is what it's going to be. If you feel this is too curvy, I don't want that straight line anymore. It's so straight and sharp, and this piece is okay, and I think this width is okay also. All right guys, so this is our front pattern. We're cutting two. We're cutting each because we already have individual pieces, so we're cutting one, or you cut two of only one of it, okay? And you'll be placing the fabric front size facing front size. This one you're cutting two. You're putting the fabric like you're cutting on fold, but actually you're cutting two pieces of this, okay? And yeah, let's look at the back pattern. For the back pattern, we have this. You can decide that you want your back no drama, plain like that, you know, good girl vibe, or you can decide you want a little like diversion and say, oh, let me do some little things, and from the shoulder tip you can just draw a bam, like you could get all the way to where this or that line is, you know, and square it out that way so that like a triangular chunk is cut off. You may not go all the way down here, you know. Everything just depends on what you have in mind or the style you want to replicate. You can decide you want it this way, then from the shoulder tip just go straight up this way, you know. So cutting this one out will give you that kind of sharp V. Should we do this or should we do the normal plain back? Oh, I wish we were doing this together so that we can decide. You know, you guys would have just told me, please, I do the normal back, or no, let's do the drama, or you know. I miss you guys. So let me just use my own discretion, and I think you guys will go for this one, okay? I think so. Left for me, I'll just go for the normal back and use my front with the drama, but I'm sure you guys are going to pick this, so let me just go for this. Let me just cut it out. So you saw, just draw a normal. You don't need to calculate or do anything. Just think about it and do what will work for you, okay? We already have our neckline, okay? Actually, we're supposed to match it up, like match it up and see. So you see that it's actually even corresponding. The two necklines, you always need to match up the shoulder. So you actually need to match up the shoulder to see that you are on point. And yes, we are on point. Okay, so I'll just cut that chunk away. So this is what we'll be having on the back. So let's go ahead to start cutting on the fabric. For the bottom part, I'll just use my flay. I'll use my circle skirt. So I can either use the one I drafted earlier that we used in our drawstring dress. If you've not seen that dress, please check it out here. Or I just do the normal using our measurements that has already been calculated for us. I'll use my waistline and cut the freehand flare. But something I want you to put in mind is, if you're cutting using your radius, please try as much as possible, because most times when you cut any fabric that way, you know, it's going to stretch more than it should. So by the time you open it up, you'll be seeing that you'll be having more than, for instance, your waist is 30 inches, and when you use 30 inches direct measurement to cut either a full circle skirt, half circle, anything, you see that it will stretch more than 30. You'll be having like 31, 32 sometimes, no matter how accurate you measure, okay? I'll just advise you can go 1 inch up. So if your waist is 30 inches, you can do 29 inches and cut. So even if it doesn't match up, you can reduce the measurements than it's being more than the measurement. You understand what I'm saying? If it doesn't match up, you can actually we just shape the measurement and like just cut a little off and it will fit, than you now cutting your exact waist, and by the time you open it, because it's a circle, because it's a bias, because of all those things, there's more stretch and it will increase more than 30 inches. We're having like 32, sometimes you have 33 inches. So just go 1 inch up when you're cutting. You use, for instance, for a waist of 30 inches, for instance, for a waist of 30 inches, you can use a 29-inch measurement for the circle, and you have a very, very good one. Okay, so let us start cutting all of this and sewing them up real quick. So guys, I have about 4.5 yards of fabric. I don't want to start cutting the upper part first. Let me first cut the lower part. And my dress length is usually like 40 inches. That's if I want it decent. 40 inches is okay. So if the upper part is about 16 inches, that's my half length. That means what is left for me to use for the lower part is 24 inches. So I can make it 25, 26. 25, 26 for the lower part. So if I fold it this way, you know, you're doing 25, 26 plus whatever you're going to be cutting off at the up, that's cutting off the radius. Okay, so I can do 26 inches plus my radius for my skirt, which is about like 6 inches. So 26 plus 6, 32. I'm going to be measuring 32 here and fold it into 2, then fold it into 4. That'll be enough. No, it's not going to be enough. I have to cut it into 2 separate pieces so that I can join it at the back, because my Ankara will not allow me cut just one full one. Like, it will be too short. You know, if I put it this way, see, even if I measure 4 around, it's not going to be enough. So I'll have to cut it individually, such that like here, then just fold it this way and cut it out. Okay, let's see. So this is fine. I'm just going to fold it like half. I can't fold it into 4. I won't have a full circle. So fold it into 2. Use the length of your circle skirt plus the radius of what you'll be cutting. Since I'm cutting a full circle skirt, okay, but I'm going to be cutting it two pieces of that full circle skirt. So I'll just place it on a triangle like this. I hope you understand the gist though. I just did fold it into 2, then at one corner I just fold a triangle. That's all I did. So from here, from the corner, I'm going to be measuring 5/1/8 inches. 5/1/8 inches. Remember the rule I told you. I don't want it to get more widened than what it should be. Okay, 5/1/8 there, and from there I'll be measuring 26 inches down. Okay, so if you look at this now, this is what we'll have, and you can see that this is just enough for only the front. See, okay, by folding it into 2, we still have the back part to go around the back. Okay, so let's cut the back part of our beautiful skirt. So remember, for the other side, you're measuring 32 inches, so this is where 32 gets to. Just put that on fold. The 32 should be on fold. Okay. Then, yeah, just make it, hold one corner and do a triangle. Okay. Hold one corner, do a triangle. So you have this. Great. So now we can measure. Okay, so this part will now be for the back side. And for the back, you know, you also need your zipper side, so like cutting and all of that, you're supposed to still split it into two. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so let's keep this, and I'm sure remaining fabric, despite it's in shreds and in pieces, would be enough for the main style that we have to do. So let's start that now. Alright guys, so I have cut everything out. 2 pieces of the back on the main fabric and 2 pieces on the lining. Same thing here, cut 2 pieces individually on the lining and on the main fabric here as well. So 2 pieces, that's separately. I just cut them individually, since one will be for the left and one for the right. Then the flay pattern, because I wanted to maintain the length, I had to just cut it on, like cut it in 2. I already explained that, so if you followed it, you understand what I did. So instead of joining at the bottom, no need to join any seam. Okay, so we'll go ahead to start joining it up. So if you want to see how to join this up, please just follow along. Okay guys, so we have cut everything that we need to start sewing. Okay, so I'm going to be splitting this video into 2 just because it is really long. It's over like 50 minutes and I wouldn't just want to post a 50 minutes video. So the first part will just be the drafting and the cutting on the fabric, and the other part will be the sewing. So if you're interested to see how I actually sewed it to achieve this, you can watch the second part of the video. But besides that, that's all. Okay, so for you to watch the second part, please just it will be posted in the next 24 hours, so you can watch that there. All right, so thank you so much, and yeah, see you in part 2. Bye guys.